Hey, welcome. My name is Aaron. I am your host, and I am so glad that you're here. Today, we're talking about a really awesome subject that transitions you from being a hobbyist into a full-time wedding videographer. So, really quick, I want to talk about our story. And I don't think I've actually talked about our story as much as I would love, right? So, Yancy and I, we weren't always wedding videographers and photographers. As a matter of fact, we could care less about photo or video until we started messing with it, which was around 4 years ago. Yeah, actually, exactly around 4 years ago. That we started just actually picking up a camera, and I started that. Yancy was still at a flower shop. She was a floral designer for a local flower shop here in Bluffton, and she loved it. There was nothing wrong with that. And I was I was a technician at Mercedes-Benz. So it sounds awesome, but it wasn't that great. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. But one of the biggest things that kept me from pursuing that career, if you will, was I was working for someone else. And I hated that. So personally, I do believe that if I have my own time, I can manage what I do with that time versus someone else managing my time for me, right? So I had the opportunity to make my own decisions and choose what I do with my time versus someone else. And that was probably the biggest factor of us moving into this full time. So how did this happen? Where did the transition happen? And I'm gonna tell you just exactly where it got started. I think it was back in October. I was sitting there in our room and I told Yancy, I remember this vividly. I said, hey, I'm going to pick up that camera there. It was on the shelf and it was just collecting dust. And I told her, I'm going to learn it. I'm going to learn everything there is to know about it. So I spent a whole month learning that camera, like YouTube, reading, everything, right? And after that, I started just shooting things, like anything that I can think of. I started vlogging. I have archives of vlogs, and they're not here, they're on a hard drive that I would just edit and put together. And those are actually some of the best memories, but that's how I started. And then I told Yancy, I was like, hey, I'm going to go shoot a video for my mom. She is needing me to, well, she's not needing me to do anything, but she wants this little promo thing because she owns a hair salon. So I went and shot that, and that got traction, and she loved it, and the people that watched it loved it. And after that moment, I knew that there was something that I can do with this. So there was an opportunity there for me to I didn't know this at the time, but for me to create freedom financially and freedom with my time, doing something that I actually enjoyed. And I'll take you back a little bit further, actually a lot further than that. It all started back when I was, I think 14, 15. And we were making just skate videos. And I had this little Walmart camera. I think it was like less than 420p, 480. I don't remember what the resolution was. But really small, tiny camera that we made skate videos with. And I totally forgot about it because, I started to had to work and do things, and I kind of lost that on the way, and then I feel like I picked it back up during this moment. So that was kind of where I got started, and that's where it came from, if you will. And for Yancy, it was a little bit different. This was after we jumped right in. So I told her, I said, hey, I think I'm going to go full time with this. I think there's something that we can do, because at this point I had already shot one wedding. So this was actually right after one wedding. Like I shot one wedding and I felt like, man, I can do this, right? Um, you you have to have the confidence to know that you can do it so that you can pursue it before doing it, right? So I had that confidence and I said, yes, I can do this because I had put my whole heart behind it. I put my heart behind learning the ins and outs of that camera, understanding how to do things, editing, all of these things where I wanted it so bad that I was willing to make it happen. And I knew that this was something that I wanted to pursue. I didn't know what the end result was going to be, but I knew that I wanted to pursue this. And then Yancy was at one point, we sat down and we talked about it. And she said, if this is going to make you happy, then I'm all in for it. I'm going to support you, even if we have to live somewhere else. Like, even if we lose certain things, I'm going to be there for you. And to me, that has to be one of the biggest motivators of all of this. I honestly don't know. I don't know if I could have done this without Yancy. I couldn't have done this without Yancy because she allowed me to pursue this, and she created an opportunity for me to pursue this. And I think I went a little too far with all of this with the story because there's some points that I wanna tell you, and but that was basically the whole story. Like that's how we got started, and that was the pivot point of us actually running a business. That was with Yancy saying yes, go for it. I believe in you. So where were we financially during that time? We weren't financially stable. We were not. When I tell you that we were living paycheck by paycheck, literally, it sucked. Even though I was working at Mercedes as a technician, I was making great money, but it's hard when you have kids and a spouse and she's a stay-home mom, and it was tough. It was really hard. And I know I said she works at a flower shop, but I was only on that was only during the weekends. So it was on Saturday, actually, just one day out of the week, which was really helpful. And it allowed her to get out of her, just being at home because that can get exhausting. But we weren't financially stable. We were living paycheck by paycheck, and it was tough. It was really tough. So, and like I said, we had the kids, and that just added more stress to the picture. And another thing that I mentioned was just not having the time with them. That was a huge deal for me. I remember the first few years of Adeline and Ellie, which are our two oldest. They I used to get home and they would be sleeping, or I would leave and they would be sleeping. So that was hard. I didn't get to see them. I only got to see them maybe once or twice during the week, and that was on the weekends if I didn't work on a Saturday. And that was tough because when I got home, I just wanted to just chill for a second. There was no downtime for me, and that was exhausting. So that was another big issue with all of this. So my first question is, when is the right time for you to jump in full time? I don't know what your situation looks like. I don't know if you're financially stable. I don't know if you're going through certain things, and that's okay. I think everyone has their own story. But I truly believe that if you want to jump right in, there is no right time. There's never a perfect time or I mean, there are better scenarios for sure, but there's never a perfect time. And I think that you have to allow yourself to know that and come to the realization that, okay, I'm never going to do it if I don't do it. And that's the hard part. I think that's the biggest obstacle that we have to kind of move past, is just actually getting to the point of doing it, right? And jumping in. Do you have a security like plan, or what's happening there? I hear this a lot when people are trying to jump in full time. It's like, man, I'm going to lose my benefits. I'm going to lose, a steady paycheck, and I'm going to lose whatever. You fill in the blank there. That is 100% true. You will lose those things. There's no getting around that unless you pay for it on your own. And that's another thing. Be okay to lose those things, to lose a sense of security. I think that's where the biggest reward comes from, is being okay losing certain things. And I'll say this, it makes you a whole lot hungrier to actually pursue something if you don't have it, right? For example, you're not going to, you know, you're not going to starve yourself if you're hungry and you're feeling it. The longer you stay hungry, like, you're gonna feel it more, and it's gonna be like intense, right? So what are you gonna do? You're gonna look for food. You're gonna find a way to get food. It's the same thing. If you are hungry to make this happen, you're gonna look for ways to make it happen, because now there's pressure behind you. And a lot of people don't love that, and that's okay. But you have to learn to live in that, all right? Because that's where you're gonna get the best reward, and you're gonna pursue things, and you're actually gonna get them done. And then planning all of this, man, yeah, I think the plan is another big one. You need to be able to plan accordingly as well. We didn't plan this. I'm gonna say this flat out. We did not plan this. Like, this was so spur of the moment, and that's a lot of my personality. I'm so, like, in the moment. Like, I don't plan it, but I'm gonna go for it. And I know a lot of people are like, well, I'm not like that. Like, that's not me. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be you. Do it on your own way, however you feel like you need to do it. I'm just telling you my story. And I'm hoping that this encourages you to actually go out and pursue something that you love, right? Because stop wasting time. Stop wasting hours and, like, thinking. You can think and think all you want, but if you don't do something about it, you're never going to get it done. So planning it is a thing that I would say, if you're a planner, go for it. Plan for it. But plan for it quickly. Don't plan for it on a long period of time. Like, I hear people saying, well, maybe in a year or two. I'm like, what the frick? Like, a year or two? You know how much time that is? You know how many hours that is? A year or two? That's so much. Like, I think you can get this done so much quicker. So plan for it in a short window, and be okay leaving things out. Be okay risking certain things, right? Let's see. Oh, this was a good one. I wrote this down because it's so true, and I want to talk about this. This was another one that impacted us as far as, like, going out and pursuing the things that we love. Ordinary people will keep you from oh, sorry. Ordinary people will keep you from living an extraordinary life. Let me say that again. Ordinary people will keep you from living an extraordinary life. Oh, man, this one hit hard for us. Like, really hard, because we were living as ordinary people, working a 9 to 5, and the minute we decided we wanted to leave that ordinary lifestyle and move in towards an extraordinary lifestyle, that became so tough, because we had friends who decided to stay there, and we knew that we couldn't live there anymore. We knew we had to move to a different stage of life, where a lot of these people wanted to live in, and that's okay. I think that was the toughest part for Yancy and for myself, because we did lose friends. We lost people that we loved. We lost people in relationships that we were so close to. And when I say lost, I don't mean like they don't talk to us anymore. I mean some, but most we had to grow apart, because we were taking a separate route. We were taking a separate lifestyle. We were going a different way, pursuing different things and not living in the same way, right? So it would be, hey, let's go hang out here. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go hang out with so and so. Let's do it. And that's not bad. But at some point you'll realize that you have to leave those relationships because you'll become just like they are, right? Complacent, and just want to work a 9 to 5 and just want to stay where they're at. And we don't want that for us. And I don't think you want that for yourself if you're trying to go full time. So coming to the conclusion of how can I, either limit the amount of impact that they have on you, or how can you completely get rid of that relationship so that you can pursue what you need. And this could be family members. This one was tough for me because I had family members who I knew that I had to leave. I knew that I had to put a, like, limit to it, I guess. That's probably the best way. I couldn't get rid of my family members, obviously, and I don't think I want to get rid of my family members, but I definitely did have to put a limit to how much impact they had on my decisions, right? Because let's be honest, family members have a huge impact on or have a huge influence on your decisions when it comes to things. They could be your biggest supporters, or they could be huge Debbie Downers. So be ready for that. Look for those people. Figure out who they are. Who are the most influencing people in your life, and find out what kind of influence do they have on you. What are the impacts that they're making for you? And you'll know really quick, are they going to stay with me? Are they going to believe in me? Or are they going to find ways and excuses for me to not pursue what I want to do? I think we all have common sense. And I think at some point we know what's common sense and what's not. But sometimes common sense could be tricky because we try to make common sense an excuse for us not to do what we want to do. So just be aware of that as well. Get over fear and stop letting people feed you lies. Another thing, like just influences. Don't let people lie to you. People are gonna lie to you and saying, "Oh, well, I don't know if you should do it. I don't know if you can do it. You're gonna lose so and so." Those are lies and fears of other people that because they don't believe in themselves. They don't believe that they can do it, so they're not gonna believe that you can do it. So I wouldn't even ask people who aren't doing anything. Like, hey, what do you think I should do? What do you think about this? I probably wouldn't ask them anything. Because if they're living a 9 to 5 and they're doing what they want to do, they're not living the dream. They're not living the lifestyle that you want, right? So don't go get advice from those people. Go get advice from people who are living the dream, who are doing the things that you want to do, and ask them. Be like, hey, what do you think about this? And my answer, like, I guarantee you, it's going to be, oh, you can do it. Oh, you go for it. Here, we'll help you. We'll go through this, and this. Like, you can do it. We believe in you. And I think another thing is, when you have people who believe in you, when you have someone, just one person that fully believes in you, oh man, that is world changing. Like, you can do so much with that. And with going full time here, that could be yourself. And honestly, I'll say this: when it's you, like just yourself believing in you, that's awesome. But it's so much more powerful when someone else believes in you. And I'll go back to the story with Yancy. She believed in me. That's all I needed. I didn't need anything else. I didn't need anyone else. I just needed Yancy to believe in me, because when she believes in me, I have the opportunity to try and actually do something about it, or not try and disappoint myself and disappoint her, right? But if I don't try, then I'm not going to get anywhere. So get around people who believe in you. and get around people who are going to support you and who want to see you succeed. And this is going to come in the form of probably new people, new friends, new relationships, and that's okay. There is a hard transition there of letting go of the old relationships and creating new relationships. So think about a time when you were scared of doing something. It could be like, have you guys ever been to the, I don't know if they, I don't see any more or I don't see any of these anymore, but any like the pools that used to have the tiers that you can just go up and dive from the tiers of like heights, I guess. Those were scary as heck. But if you've ever been to that with a friend, think about what it's like when you're both afraid. You're both up there and you're like, "Oh man, I don't know if we can do this. I don't know if we should jump. Like, we're going to die." But then you have that friend who's like, "No, I think we can do it." And you guys start just like encouraging each other. "Yeah, no, okay, let's think yeah, we can do it. Let's do it. All right, let's do it. Okay, here we go." And you guys start taking breaths and start like, pep talking yourselves, and y'all are like, "Yeah, all right, let's go. Let's do it. In 3, 2, 1." And you just jump. Right? That is what I'm talking about. Those people that get you to jump are the people that you need to be around. Because I guarantee you, if it was just you, you would talk yourself out of jumping from that tier. I've done it before. I've talked myself out of so many different things when it's just me. But when I have someone around me who's like, "No, you can do it. I believe you can do it. Go for it. Yeah, you can do it." And I jump, 9 times out of 10, I do what I need to do. But when I fail, here is the biggest fear. When I fail, I don't let my failure overcome what I feel. I let my failure educate where I went wrong. And that's huge. So if you're thinking about going full time, you're like, "Man, but what if I fail? What if I fail? What if you fail?" Let's think about it. What would happen if you fail? You could lose certain things. You could lose a lot of money. But money's a resource that comes and goes. You could lose relationships. You're going to lose them anyways. You're moving into a different lifestyle. What else? You can lose, I think those are probably the two biggest things. I think the one that people are worried about the most is money. Losing money, that's hard, but it comes and goes, right? My biggest thing is I don't want to lose the opportunity. Because if I lose the opportunity, I get stuck with, I wonder what would have happened to me if I would have tried, and you fill in the blank. I don't want to ask that question. I don't want to be the one asking that question for me or for my family or for anything that I do. I'll be honest with you. Like, I was sitting here ready to do this podcast, and I was like, "Man, I don't know if I want to talk about this. I don't know. Like, is anybody going to hear it? Is anybody going to like listen to this or, get any value out of this?" But that's just me trying to talk myself out of it. But I know that there's so much value in this, because if we went through it, then so many people are going through it, and so many people are having questions of, what do I need to do in order to go full time with wedding videography or photography? What are some of the things that I need to look out for? And I think that covers a lot of them. So just a really quick a recap for what we talked about, because there was so much here. And I think I might do more on something like this, on like actually like going full time. But yeah, so recap. There's no better time to go full time. You choose to do it, and you choose when you're ready. So there's that answer. I wish I could tell you, hey, in 3 months it's the best time, in 6 months, but everyone's different. So you have to choose what's the best time. And how long are you willing to stretch that time in order to go full time? Communicate clearly with people, whether that's with yourself, if it's just you, like, or if you have kids and a family, or if it's just you and your spouse. Communicate clearly. This is going to set expectations. This is going to set goals, deadlines, and accountability. And you want to make sure that you're both on the same boat. Like you want to make sure you're both in agreement with everything, right? Talk about the things that you're going to do, which is the dream. Talk about the risks. Like, what are the risks involved in doing something like that? And be realistic. Don't just talk about the good stuff. Talk about the bad stuff. It's actually really healthy. And then talk about action steps. Like, what are the things that you're going to do and you're willing to do in order to get there? That could be like, okay, well, we're willing to sacrifice, going out to eat for X amount of weeks, or we're going to sacrifice, going to the movies, or whatever. You pick those, but find out what you're willing to do. And then set deadlines. When is this going to get done by? Like, how am I going to measure my progress with going full time? Set deadlines. Like, that's just it's gonna give you a whole progress recipe for success in going full time. And talk about what happens after you go full time. Like, yes, you're gonna be making less money because you're getting started, right? Or if you've already like built a clientele, then you might be making more money. But be realistic with these things, and surround yourself with people who believe in you. That's the biggest one. I think out of all of them, oops, I just hit my mic. But I think out of all of them, this is the most important one. Surround yourself with people who know that you can do it, who encourage you, who want you to pursue that dream. Man, Yancy and I could say, like, we're surrounded by some of the most encouraging people in our life right now. Like, people believe in us. They love what we do. They support us. They are rooting for us. They're wanting to see us succeed even more than we are right now. And that is, I don't know, it's like a superpower when somebody does believe in you. And you know exactly what I mean. So get around people who want to see you succeed. It might take some time to find them. So you might have to actually do some networking. It could look like, hey, well, or find a church home. Like, if you don't have one, and find people who are going to surround you with encouragement, or go to networks where it's like wedding vendors who are maybe a little bit more advanced than most, or I don't know, figure something out. But go out of your way to find these people if you really need to. And the very last thing is, you can do it. Like, if you don't believe in you, let me believe in you. I truly believe that you can do it. I believe that you have the capability to go full time, and to succeed in this industry. Like, don't think it's too saturated, because it's not. It's saturated with a lot of people who start. But if you do it and you do it well, oh man, this is going to be awesome for you. And I believe that you can do it. So let me believe in you. If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't have anyone to believe in you, let me believe in you. If you have any questions, just reach out to me. You can reach out to our Instagram, which is at 2Era Films. That's our brand Instagram. And then, or reach out here on the podcast, at weddingstoryteller_podcast. And head over to education.2erafilms.com for a lot of resources. You can listen to the podcast there, or listen to the podcast anywhere you consume your podcast. And check us out on YouTube. We do the podcast on YouTube and on Apple Podcast, anywhere. We're everywhere. We're all over the place. But that's it for today. I think I hope that was super helpful. That was a loud crack. I hope that was super helpful. if you have any questions, man, feel free to reach out. This is a topic that I'm believing you for. So I'm super excited. I want to hear your story. So shoot me a message. Leave a comment if you're watching. Let me know, like, where are you? Did you go full time? How long have you been doing this? Are you thinking about going full time? I want to know. I want to support you. I want to be there. But that is it for me. And I will see you guys on the next one.